That's right. How to retire in 2 years starting with only $50,000. I know what you're thinking. Clickbait alert. How is this possible? Wall Street is telling me and everybody else that I need $2 million in my 401k in order to retire, and I have to work another 20 years to get there. In this video, I'll show you how, with an initial investment of $50,000 and the right strategy, you could retire in just 2 years. Hi guys, Eric Martel here. Welcome back. And before we go any further, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, because every week I'm producing videos to help you achieve financial freedom and make the most out of your money. But enough about that, let's get started. And let's start with a typical worker who earns $72,000 a year, which is the median household income in the US. Obviously, if you make more or less, you can adjust the figures accordingly. But since I will be referring to this typical worker throughout the video, let's call our worker Tracy. Tracy saved up $50,000, and this $50,000 could be in savings accounts, could be in 401k, IRA, or it could be even a home equity line of credit. How could Tracy, earning only $72,000 a year, manage to save $50,000? Well, simply by being on a budget. Again, your situation might be different. Your income might be higher than Tracy's. Maybe you have more savings, so you would have to make some adjustments. But the basics are the same. If you don't have $50,000 saved up, here is how a budget can help you. So let's talk about an easy to follow budgeting strategy known as the 50-20-30 method. This simple yet powerful method can help you effectively manage your income and help you save the $50,000 you need to get started with the investment strategy I will reveal later in this video. The 50-20-30 method breaks down like this. 50% of your income should go to necessities. 20% should be set aside for savings or paying off debt. 30% is set for personal spending on non-essentials or lifestyle choices. Let's talk about the first category, necessities. It should take no more than 50% of your take-home pay. This includes housing, utilities, groceries, health insurance, car payments, and other essentials you can't do without. Remember, if more than half of your income is going to necessities, you might need to reconsider your expenses or increase your income to ensure a balanced budget. In order of importance, the next 20% is allocated towards financial goals. This is how Tracy, our typical worker, managed to save up $50,000 in a few years. The remaining 30% of your income is for your lifestyle choices. This includes non-essential things like dining out, entertainment, your gym membership, hobbies, and other personal expenses. That's the 50-20-30 budgeting method. Now, you could be saving even more by diving into these non-essential expenses that represents 30% of your budget. Look at all your spending and be frugal. I'm not asking you to stop enjoying life. Just like what Marie Kondo does for decluttering your house, declutter your finances and get rid of anything that doesn't bring you true joy and happiness. Look at the big ticket items first and work your way down. Cable subscription was a big one for me. I was just curious one day how much I would save if I was to cut the cable and just keep my high-speed internet. I was not watching TV anyways, I was mainly watching YouTube and Netflix. When the rep told me that I would be saving $250 a month, I told him to cut that cable immediately. When my son woke up in the morning, he thought the TV was broken. I just told him that, I cut the cable, and he didn't even care. So I was paying that $250 a month for nothing. That's $3,000 a year. You can cut these items out completely, or you can just reduce the spending. For me, I enjoy going out for dinner. It brings me true joy. But for a few months, we were eating out at restaurants for dinner every night and often even at lunch. Imagine the cost of eating out at a restaurant 30 to 50 times a month. It was ridiculous, even by my standards. But we are a very busy couple, so we don't have much time to go grocery shoppings and cook. So we use services that delivers groceries like Instacart and Amazon. save us time. I also use a prepared food service. These are well-balanced, ready-to-eat meals that I can just pop in the oven or microwave. Each meal costs around $15, which may seem a little pricey, but it's cheaper than eating out. It is also a healthier alternative, and it saves me a ton of time. These are only a few of the methods that you can use in order to focus on your budget and spend the money wisely so that you can maximize your saving and really save that $50,000 or more that you need in order to invest in the strategy I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. Next thing we need to figure out is our income target. Now, our typical worker, Tracy, has $50,000 in saving, continues to save 20% of her income based on the 50-20-30 method, and is earning $72,000 a year in income. Tracy's goal is to replace that source of income with another sustainable source of income so that she can quit her job in 2 years. Again, your situation might be different, so you have to kind of like jiggle the numbers a little bit. But if your income is higher, maybe your saving percentage is higher than 20%. Now, are you ready to hear the strategy that will generate enough revenue to replace your current income in 2 years? The investment strategy I'm recommending has two components. The first component is to build capital by flipping single-family rentals. The second component is to build a passive income portfolio of single-family rentals by refinancing one or more of these single-family rentals. So why single-family rental? Since we want to build a portfolio of cash-flowing single-family rentals, we want to basically build a whole pipeline of these rental deals. It also gives you, as an investor, multiple exit strategies. For example, you could decide if you want to sell as a rental, either occupied or vacant. You could even sell it to a retail buyers, or of course, you could refinance it and hold the property. You want to analyze each deal in your pipeline as a flip and a refi so that you can pick and choose the best properties to add to your own cash flowing portfolio. So what does the typical deal look like? So the deals that we're looking at have a purchase price of around $70,000 and a renovation budget of around $20,000. Since you only have $50,000 to invest, you will need to get a loan from a hard money lender or a private money lender. The value of the property once the renovation is done is on average around $125,000. This would give you an average profit of about $15,000. So how does it work? How do I get from single-family rental flips to enough income for me to retire in 2 years? In your first year, you should be able to complete 3 of these flips. This would generate about $45,000 of profit. Your cash position at the end of the first year would be around $80,000 after tax. In your second year, with the experience you gained, with the additional cash from flipping the rentals in your first year, you could do 3 properties at the same time, which would mean 9 properties for the year. As you analyze these properties, you may find that some of them have a high cash-on-cash return if you were to refinance them. So instead of selling these properties, you might want to refinance them, get most of your money out, if not all your initial investment. At the end of year 2, you end up with $150,000 in cash, assuming that you refinanced 2 of the 9 properties you renovated. So you started with $80K at the beginning of the year and ended up with $150K. That's $70K in profit after tax. On top of that, you have 2 cash-flowing rental properties that you didn't have before, which demonstrates that you are able to not only generate sufficient profit to replace your current income, but also begin building a cash-flowing rental portfolio for the future. Starting with $150K in year 3, if you were to quit your job that year, keeping your living expenses the same and investing exactly like you did in year 2, which is flip 7 properties and refinance 2, you would end up with $155,000 at the end of year 3. And this is a critical point because the rest of it keeps accelerating. This is the snowball effect that we're all looking for. Because you quit your job, now you have more time for your flipping business so you can flip more houses. You're also building a cash-flowing portfolio of single-family rentals, so that also adds to your passive income. Well, this is all fine in theory, but what do you need to get there? What do you need to get started? Well, first, you need to shift your mindset. Understand that it is possible to do this. Know that you will need to learn some new skills, obviously, and that you're transitioning from a full-time 9-to-5 kind of lifestyle into being a business owner and a real estate investor. Number 2, you want to find the right market. And most likely the market will be away from where you currently live. Remember, you want to live where you want to live, but you want to invest where it makes sense. So if you're looking for cash flowing properties, like the Midwest or Central United States is probably the best bet for you. Which means that you're probably going to be investing out of your home state. Which takes us to point number 3, which is to build a team on the ground. Property manager, contractor, realtor. The 4th thing that you need is you want to be able to find and analyze deals. Most of the deals are on MLS. 50% of our deals are still coming from MLS, but it could also come from your realtor. It could also come from wholesalers. Your realtor or the team on the ground might have access to properties, might offer them to you. So you want to be able to analyze them and decide if you're going to put an offer for them or not. The next thing, remember that you have only $50,000 to invest at the beginning. So that means you're going to have to find some hard money lenders to fund the rest of your deal. You could also find private money lenders. These are family and friends that have money that they want to invest in your deals, but more importantly, in you. They trust you that you will be able to generate a profit and pay them the interest. When you're doing these deals, you want to be responsive. That means that when someone is offering you a deal, you want to be able to analyze it very quickly and be able to respond and tell them that you're going to pass or that you're going to put an offer, and put the offer promptly. Some of the markets I know on the coast right now, they're not as hot as they used to be, but telling you in the Central, in the Midwest, these markets are still very hot. You have to be very responsive in order to get your offer accepted. We still have offers that are cash only and all of that. So if you want to be approved by a private money lender or hard money lenders before you put your offer, that's also a very good idea. Otherwise, you're going to have to pass on some of these cash deals. Next, you want to be very disciplined. It's going to be very challenging sometimes to look at properties and say, oh, I should do this apartment building, or I should flip in a retail market, or there's a house on my street in California that I want to invest in. It's not cash flowing, but I want to do something else, and all of that. Stay focused. You have a strategy that works. Keep working at it. Keep applying it. And then you can decide later on, after a few years, if you're going to go and change that strategy or add the strategy. So I recommend that before you go and start a different strategy, that you really have this first strategy well automated, I would say, or managed by someone, so that it really doesn't take that much time for you to manage that pipeline or that strategy. Then you can go and look at a different strategy. But you don't need 3, 4, 5 strategies to be successful. You only need one, and you need to be good at it. Next is be organized. As you're growing, 3 properties per year is pretty easy. Doing 9 properties per year is getting a little bit more complicated. That means that you're doing about 3 properties at the same time, 3 renovation projects at the same time. So they could be at different stages. Once you get into the 4 or 5 projects in parallel, it gets a little bit more complicated. In order for you to be successful, you don't need to go too much beyond that. I think the maximum is, if you hit like 10 properties a month, that's pretty much the maximum one person wants to be able to handle. So I would stick to that, and then really focus on automating and managing that extremely well. But in order to do this, you need to be organized. You need to have a system, a tracking system. Excel kind of works, but it's not enough in most cases. So that's why I would recommend that you check out Flip System. So check out flipsystem.com. And here's the reason. Flip System is my company, co-founder and co-owner of the company, along with my son, Antoine. And basically, as we were doing Martel Turnkey, we flipped probably 1,000 properties with Martel Turnkey. Last year we did like 180 properties that year. We learned a lot, and we systematized a lot. We built a system, we need processes, templates, and all of that. And during that time, we spoke with a lot of investors that really wanted to do the same thing we were doing. They wanted to buy distressed property, renovate them, they wanted to rent them out, and basically refinance them in the back end sometimes, and also sell them which is exactly the system that I'm describing here for you to achieve financial freedom, to quit your job in 2 years with only $50,000 cash. So from these investors, we decided to put together online training, but also coaching. We also have access to our acquisitions team. So our acquisitions team is going to give you the deals, going to pre-analyze some deals for you, and you can go and look at them, look at what the exit strategy looks like, what the returns look like if you're going to flip the property, also if you're going to refinance it in the back end. So both of these exit strategies are analyzed, pre-analyzed for you, so you can decide what you're going to do. You're also going to have access to our team on the ground. These are vetted team on the ground, people that we have either worked with for 8 or 10 years, or also other people that some of our students have worked with, or people that we have vetted through our system, that they know what we're doing. So that means the realtor, property manager, contractors. And then the last component that you need is really the hard money lender. So we're going to connect you with hard money lenders that we know, that we have worked with, or that our students have worked with, or our investors have worked with, that we know are going to be able to lend on your deals. And finally, how do you stay organized? Well, you need to have a property tracking system, which is what we've built. And it's basically a small replica of the system that we've used at Martel Turnkey. So we're going to add more functionality into that system very shortly, but it's going to keep you organized. It's going to have a lot of automation to basically let you know what you need to do at different stages of your project. So check out flipsystem.com. Whether you decide to look at FlipSystem or not, it doesn't matter. The investment strategy that I mentioned above is still very valid, and it will definitely help you achieve financial freedom and quit your job in 2 years. And remember that this investment strategy has 2 components. The first component is to build capital by flipping single-family rentals. And then as you're analyzing more and more single-family rentals deals, you're going to find some properties that will be very good for you to refinance instead of selling them, so that you can start building your passive income portfolio. Well, I hope you found this video informative. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and see you next week.